Here we are again with another former ESPN employee coming out and blasting the network for their handling of certain situations. Bill Simmons worked at ESPN when ESPN was ESPN. He worked there when the network had influence. He worked there at a time that ESPN was innovative. That worldwide leader in sports tagline that ESPN used to use, that was real. It was fact. Fact. Something that is missing from the network in 2021. Very rarely do we get any factual information from ESPN anymore, mainly just fiction. Bill Simmons was on his podcast on The Ringer a couple of days ago. He was talking about the Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols situation. Bill Simmons knows firsthand how horribly ESPN handles tough situations like this. His own departure from the network wasn't without controversy. I know there are a lot of people who don't like Bill Simmons. I don't have a problem with him. I wouldn't call myself a follower or subscriber of his, but I do check in with Bill Simmons from time to time. At minimum, I feel like he means what he says. I think he has credibility, something ESPN is severely lacking. Whether you love or hate Bill Simmons, the way ESPN handled his firing was 100% wrong. He found out that he was being fired from an article in the New York Times. No phone call, no email, no text message. He read about his firing in the damn newspaper. That is not how you treat a 15-year employee. Bill Simmons was one of the leading innovators at ESPN. He co-founded 30 for 30, founded Grantland, which was an extremely popular site that ESPN immediately shut down after they fired Bill Simmons. So he's talking about the handling of the Maria Taylor-Rachel Nichols debacle. And Bill Simmons brought up some interesting points. He brought up something that I hadn't really thought about, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it really gives you some insight into the mentality of ESPN. It provides some insight into how far the network has really fallen, how much the sickness of wokeness has really infected ESPN, and how it impacts their decision making. Bill Simmons mentioned how ESPN completely screwed up how they handled Rachel Nichols. He said it's like the network doesn't have anyone in charge anymore. They don't have any leadership saying this is bad. We have got to get this resolved ASAP. Obviously, that did not happen. This went on for a year. ESPN knew about this secret recording for a year. Bill Simmons made the point that the network is constantly dealing with so many crises that they're always in a defensive mode. He didn't come out and say this, but I will. ESPN found themselves backed into a corner with Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols. They had a white woman, the face of NBA coverage at their network, calling out ESPN for promoting a black woman based on her race alone and not her qualifications. Rachel Nichols was telling the truth, something ESPN has become allergic to over the last 8 years. Instead of punishing Maria Taylor for releasing this tape, which I know is just speculation, I know that, but come on. Maria Taylor was the only person who could have benefited from this year-old tape being made public. Instead of ESPN punishing her or just simply refusing to renew her contract, they try to give her a damn raise, and they end up firing Rachel Nichols. Bill Simmons alluded to this becoming the legacy of ESPN, a network that doesn't know how to handle a crisis. It's not that they don't know how to handle a crisis. The problem is they view every crisis through the lens of race. The black person is always the victim. The white person is always the evil suspect. The end result is always the same. Bill Simmons goes on to talk about how far ESPN has fallen, and he made some excellent points. I have mentioned several times that ESPN used to be influential, that has become a running joke, the dead horse that continues to be beaten. Bill Simmons brings up the lack of innovation at ESPN. He's absolutely right about it. This used to be a network that was not afraid to try anything new. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Remember when they launched their own phone It failed. ESPN Mobile failed. They tried Stephen A. Smith in a late night formatted talk show. Didn't work out. It failed. But the point is, they always tried something. They were never afraid to try anything. Now, of course, ESPN also had a lot of success in innovation. They launched multiple networks, ESPN2, ESPNU. They launched networks dedicated to each conference in college sports. Documentary series, 30 for 30, like we mentioned earlier. Outside the Lines. They really started the entire sports debate platform. Around the Horn, PTI, First Take. First Take started as First and 10 on cold pizza. Ended up developing into its own show. ESPN was always pushing new content. Let me ask you, what has ESPN created lately? What new show, new series, new idea? What have they created lately that worked? Oh, sure. I mean, they created plenty of woke PSAs and programming since last summer. I wouldn't call that innovation. I would call that virtue signaling. In the last 3 to 5 years, how many new stars has ESPN created? Bill Simmons compared ESPN to a 53-man roster in the NFL. He said they used to have so much on-air talent, but now the network is trying to field an NFL team with only half a roster. Of course, this has all been to the benefit of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is ESPN. He's all they have. This is a network that used to be masterful at creating new stars. When you're in the entertainment business, you cannot survive without star power. ESPN doesn't know how to create stars anymore. And it's not from lack of trying. The problem is the method. ESPN's trying to create diversity stars. They're trying to create stars who are interested in promoting the agenda. Maria Taylor being a prime example. Rachel Nichols was a star before the wokeness, but she tried to comply, she tried to conform, didn't matter, got fired anyway. Marcus Spears, Jalen Rose, Dominique Foxworth, Max Kellerman, Jamel Hill, Michelle Beadle, all stars ESPN has gotten behind at one point or another and failed for one reason or another. Now, some have left the network. Some are still on ESPN, but is anyone really checking for Jalen Rose? Does anyone really care what Max Kellerman thinks? This used to be the network for any and everything sports. Since 2012, when ESPN decided to go woke, they have lost more stars than they've created. And they've put themselves in a lose-lose situation because ESPN is married to Stephen A. Smith. He's all they have left. If Stephen A. Smith were to leave ESPN, who do they have to step in and take his place? Stephen A. leaving is a real possibility in the future. He has stated numerous times that he wants a career in late-night television and wants to get out of sports. If that happens, ESPN is screwed. They basically become the WWE. The WWE used to be influential. They used to be mainstream. Vince McMahon was once a genius when it came to creating new stars. He lost his touch because he became out of touch with his audience. ESPN is out of touch with their audience. They're constantly promoting people that the majority of their audience doesn't want to watch. These people they're promoting, they keep getting rejected, and ESPN just rinses and repeats. We'll try another one. They get rejected too. Bill Simmons said that ESPN has basically adopted the strategy of becoming the channel that shows sports games and highlights, and that's it. It's kind of like the transition MTV made in the late 90s, when they went away from music videos and straight to reality television. Much like ESPN has become the Stephen A. network, MTV has become the Rob Dyrdek network. All they air are crappy episodes of ridiculousness and all the garbage spinoffs. What is ESPN right now? It's Sports Center, First Take. That's it. Like I said, it's the Stephen A. show. He's the only personality they have that ever makes any news or headlines. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I thought Bill Simmons' perspective on the decline of ESPN was interesting and just wanted to share it with you guys. I didn't play the audio because the segments were littered throughout a 2-hour podcast, but you can check it out for yourself if you want to over at The Ringer. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of Bill Simmons' perspective on the downfall of ESPN and how they continue to mishandle situations like Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.